Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. There you go, we have had breaking news. Yusuf Chermiti has signed for Everton. The club have said Yusuf Chermiti has signed for Everton from Sporting Club de Portugal for an undisclosed fee. The striker agreeing a 4-year contract until the end of June 2027. The 6'3" Portugal under-19s international becomes the Blues' third summer signing after Ashley Young and Arnald Danjuma, and will wear the number 28 shirt. He joined Sporting's academy in 2016 and rose through the ranks before making his senior debut for the Lisbon Giants in January in a 2-2 draw against their city rivals Benfica. His first start was 2 weeks later as he set up a goal in a 5-0 home win against SC Braga, and it took him little time to get on the score sheet himself, scoring in his next 2 matches at Rio Ave and against Porto. Chermiti has said, "It's a big move for me. Joining Everton is a new beginning, a new page, and I'm very happy to be here. It is a beautiful city and a beautiful club. I'm looking forward to meeting the fans, my new teammates, and to get to work with the coach. I want to embrace everything about the club. I have new goals now. I'm here and I want to do my best for Everton. I want to help the team. I hope the fans will like me and I want to show them what I am capable of. Everton is a big club. A lot of legends have played here. I couldn't turn down this opportunity. It's a big moment for me and now I'm fully focused to get to work." Sean Dyche has said Youssef is a talented young striker who can add a different dimension to our squad. He is still a teenager who is learning his game, which we will be mindful of, but we think he has the raw talent and ingredients to be a very good player, and that's why we are pleased to have signed him for Everton. Chermiti then went on to say, "I am a hard-working player, I have pace, and I think I have good finishing ability. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to keep improving with Everton. It will be a dream to play at Goodison Park. I hope to play a lot of games at Goodison, and I am very excited for the beginning of my journey at this football club." Reports from The Athletic and Paddy Boyland suggesting that Everton paid an initial €12.5 million and around €2.5 million in potential add-ons for Yusuf Chermiti, who has signed a 4-year contract. So yeah, really, really good interview. As always, I say it whenever we talk about new signings and interviews and stuff, they're all very much of a muchness, aren't they? Very similar, talking about how they're excited to join the football club, talking about their opportunity that they've been given, etc., etc. He clearly speaks very well. He clearly is happy to be here. He speaks about, you know, the size of the football club, the fact that we've had many legends play here, beautiful city, beautiful club, speaks very elegantly as well, and, you know, speaks quite passionately about wanting to get his head down and get to work with the with the manager and with the team. He obviously believes in his own ability. He's obviously confident in his own ability. For him to say, you know, he's somebody that believes he has good finishing ability, pace, hard-working player. He obviously has a lot of self-belief and self-confidence, which is important if he wants to be a Premier League player. He also obviously says Everton is a big club. A lot of legends have played there. I couldn't turn down this opportunity. That's a big thing as well. The obvious that he wants to join Everton. I know it can be seen as quite an obvious thing when a player moves to a football club. Well, obviously he wants to join Everton because he signed for Everton, but that isn't always the case. There's been a lot of transfers over the years where players have moved because they've had to move and they haven't even really been, you know, that sort of knowledgeable about the move. It's just sort of happened for them for whatever reason. So it's obviously good to hear that he clearly wanted to be at this football club. He clearly had looked at the football club and what it can bring to him and ultimately the opportunities it can give to him, and he's wanted to make that step, and he has now made that step. I think Sean Dyche ultimately is right in what he says. He's a young player. He's somebody that obviously has got a lot of talent, obviously has got a lot of potential, but it is raw talent at this point. It is raw potential, and you know, given the fact that he is still obviously an incredibly young player, under 19s Portuguese international. Of course, we do have to be patient with him. I think this is something that we've spoke about a couple of times over the last couple of weeks when it became quite clear that Everton were going to sign Yusuf Chermiti. I think that the main sort of talking point was patience. It's very, very unlikely that he's going to come into the football club and he's going to score 10 goals in his opening 10 Premier League games. It just isn't likely to happen. He is very young, he is very inexperienced, he hasn't played a lot of first team football anyway. Not let alone, and obviously he's not played in the Premier League before, so we are going to have to be patient. I suppose the good news is he has been announced before 12 o'clock today, and if you're wondering what that means, if he wanted to have any involvement in tomorrow's game against Fulham, he would have had to have been officially registered before 12 p.m. today. Now, he may, of course, have been registered yesterday and they just hadn't announced him till today, but now that they've announced him, obviously it means that he has been registered and therefore is eligible to play some part in the game tomorrow. Whether he does or not is a different question. Sean Dyche might feel it's too early for him. Sean Dyche might feel that because obviously he's only just signed and he's a young player and he's inexperienced, he might leave him out of the squad for tomorrow, and he might be on the bench against Aston Villa in a couple of weeks' time. We'll wait and see. Or Sean Dyche might think, no, do you know what? What's the harm in throwing him on the bench? Giving the fans something to be excited about, giving the fans something to cheer about, and then maybe bringing him on with 5 or 10 minutes to go to see what he can do. If Everton are winning the game, or if Everton are, sort of comfortable at that point. Who am I kidding? When are Everton ever comfortable in a Premier League game? But you know what I mean. But yeah, good news, positive news. Obviously, it's always good to get a new signing in. It's always exciting to get a new signing in. I think, we've had a couple of weeks now without one. Obviously, Arnaud Danjuma signed towards the back end of last month. And, when you have a couple of weeks without bringing a player in, it does tend to be a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of stress and a little bit of panic sort of settle in, because people are thinking, oh, well, has the deal fallen through? Is he going to go somewhere else? Has he changed his mind, etc., etc.? Because we've had all of those things happen to us before. Every single time Everton are linked with a player and then we have a couple of weeks where we don't hear much, we sort of assume that that's the case. Ultimately, transfers take time, and these things obviously aren't done overnight. And certainly, given obviously Yusuf Chermiti being a young lad and coming over from Portugal, I believe there was some issues with visas and stuff because obviously of Brexit. So again, it took its time, but it's been officially announced. Yusuf Chermiti is an Everton player. Very, 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 very good news. Hopefully, he can come in and have an impact. As to how many games of football we expect him to play, we don't know. I do think he will be a member of the first team. I've seen a couple of people talking about whether or not he'll go into the under-21s or the under-23s. I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be straight into the first team. I think he'll be in and around the first team squad. Will he get a lot of starts? I'm not too sure. I suppose that ultimately depends on who else we bring in the transfer window, whether we bring in Ekitike from PSG, whether we bring in another forward, Iheanacho we've been linked with, Che Adams we've been linked with, and of course it obviously depends on Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin can stay fit, then I'm sure Yusuf Chermiti will be the player that we look to bring off the bench to replace Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If Dom doesn't stay fit, which is quite possible considering his last 2 seasons, then Chermiti may end up playing more games than what Sean Dyche would have wanted them to in the first place because of injury issues. We will wait and see. But as I said, definitely somebody for the future, definitely somebody with raw talent, with raw ability. Obviously, we're going to have to be patient with him, that goes without saying. Obviously, we're going to have to work with him, the coaches are going to have to work with him to improve him. But, fantastic news that he is now officially signed and that we can get this one over the line and we can now move on to the next one, whether that be Ekitike, whether that be Nonto, we can move on to that now. So, Yusuf Chermiti has officially signed for Everton Football Club, an undisclosed fee, which is believed to be around €12.5 million with a couple of €1 million add-ons. 4-year contract for the under-19s Portuguese international, and as I said, speaks very, very highly of Everton, speaks very, very highly of wanting to come here, and I think it's a good sign as well, because if you remember when we were first linked with Yusuf Chermiti a couple of weeks ago, it was quite quick that Everton and Sporting managed to come to an agreement. It didn't take very long at all. But the discussion point was always, now it's down to the player to decide whether or not he wants to come to Everton. As I said, it wasn't really a case of whether or not Everton and Sporting can reach an agreement. That agreement was seemingly reached pretty quickly. It was then about whether or not he actually wanted the move himself. And we seem to be in a similar position with Ekitike now, according to reports. PSG have accepted the bid, and now it's just about whether or not the player wants to move. And I suppose it's a good, positive thing that ultimately Chermiti's had to sit down. He's had to analyse this situation. I think his father come out as well and spoke about the fact that they'd received an offer from Everton and now they'll look at it and see whether it suits. And obviously to hear him come out and talk so positively about the football club and so so well about how excited he is for the future and ultimately how excited he is to get going, just shows that when it gets to those stages in a transfer where Everton have got to convince a player and Everton, it's ultimately at that point where a deal is being agreed, but it's now about convincing the player to join. It's obviously, it's a positive to hear, a player come out and say, I want to play for Everton. It's a big club, a huge club. I'm looking forward to the future because it shows that clearly the recruitment team, whether it be Kevin Thelwell, whether it be Sean Dyche, whether it be somebody else, whoever's having those conversations to try and convince players, clearly is able to do that and has been able to do that with a young talent who's coming over from Portugal, who obviously has got a lot of potential to grow in the future. So there you go. Stephen says, get in there. He looks a great prospect. Howdy, mate, says the Blues is right, my mate. Fingers crossed, says Jeff. Welcome to Everton. Yusuf Chermiti, says Eugene. Good signing, says Gavin. Stephen says, sounds like he speaks good English, or are you translating? I haven't actually watched the interview. I was just reading the quotes from Everton's website, but the interview is live on Everton's YouTube now, so if you go and have a little look at that, I'm sure you'll be able to tell in the first 10 seconds whether or not he's speaking English or whether or not it's being translated. The Blues says, I just thought we get another 9, can't be throwing them in straight away. Even Man City give their players a year to get used to the Prem and they sign much better players. Yeah, I agree. I said it a couple of weeks ago. Yusuf Chermiti for me is a good sign, and it's a good move. It's a move in the right direction, but it can't be our only striker this summer because we need a more experienced name in there. Welcome to Everton, says Wonderlust. Eugene says he thinks he'll play in the cup. Probably. Blue Ribbon says the interview questions were stupid. He asked the same questions over and over again. It's just generic sort of welcome to the club. How excited are you to be here? It's the same with every player, isn't it? It's the same with every player. And Andre says, can you say hi to my kids, Hennessy and Dre? We're watching from Australia. Hi, Hennessy and Dre. I hope you all are well, and thank you very much for watching and for enjoying. I appreciate it. Anyway, look, there you go. We're going to leave it there. Obviously, very, very positive news. Everton have confirmed the signing of Yusuf Chermiti on a 4-year deal until the end of June 2027. Will he have any involvement in tomorrow's game? We'll wait and see, but it's a good, positive move, a move in the right direction. We are going to have to be patient, but he's definitely got a lot of potential, and he's definitely got a big, big future if he can reach that potential. So, good, positive signing. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Big thanks to everybody for watching live. I really do appreciate it. If you want to check out the latest rumours about Wilfried Nonso and about Ekitike, then go and check out the video that we've just posted where we talk about the latest rumours and the latest updates on those two. So big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.